I still prefer the Xbox 360 controller to the DualShock controller from PlayStation. Night and day difference. A solid mind here, and the question we are looking to answer today is, should you buy the PS3 in 2024? There's lots of consoles out there. Well, now the PS5, GTA 6 will come out soon. It will not be on the PS3. But is the PS3 worth getting in 2024? Let's find out.
That pioneered a lot of innovations that are taken for granted nowadays. But how much of my fascination for the PS3 is just blatant nostalgia, and how much does it really have to offer by today's standards? Is it even worth playing a console that is almost 2 decades old at this point?
The answer depends on what you're playing. A lot of times when you're playing these slightly older consoles, the games you play are for nostalgic purposes. There are AAA titles, but you won't get the latest AAA titles on these consoles. But hey, let's continue.
In other words, should you buy a PlayStation 3 in 2024?
Good question.
Enjoy. Multiple variants, all with slight differences. The PS3 Slim, the most popular and polished model of the lineup, and the PS3 Super Slim, a budget variant released.
So the PS3 Slim, this was a PS3 that I had. I had in total, or I've had overall, 2 PlayStations. The first one I got when I was in secondary school, actually. Yeah, I remember getting a PS3 with a lot of games, and I think this was after I got my Xbox. So I just sold my Xbox and I'm like, all my friends are playing FIFA on PlayStation. I have the different console. So I'm like, let me try it. And let me be honest with you, it was a game changer. It was such a good console. Like, one of the best consoles I had at that point in time. And to be honest, looking back, I would say it's the best console I've played in terms of the effect it had on me in that time. I would spend hours, playing PlayStation, playing GTA, like playing FIFA, just me and myself. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, this middle one was the best PlayStation in terms of look. And these looked okay, but this looked like the old design. But this looked like, okay, even on today's standards, this design stands the test of time. So that just says a lot.
Released in the final years of the PS3's life cycle, often bundled with a game or a second controller. In this video, we will focus on the PlayStation 3 Slim, because this is what I have on hand. The Slim variant, in my opinion, stands out as the most aesthetically pleasing among them. Its design is sleek.
I just said that. It's the best design by far for the PS3s.
And unobtrusive, making it easy to integrate into any room. There's only 2 buttons, one for power, one for the disk drive. It has 2 USB ports in the front and Ethernet.
You guys don't understand the game changer just by looking at this, right? Ethernet, HDMI, I was the AV connector, but you don't understand coming from a PS2 to a PS3. It's such a big game changer. Being able to use HDMI, night and day, and being able to have access to the internet. This was something that a lot of times I was using my games consoles for media consumption. So I was watching a lot of media on my games consoles, because back then Netflix, it was there. Like, getting a smart TV was like a lot of features that you can now get on Fire TVs and smart TVs. Before, you'd have to use either a Skybox or a different type of a device to access that. But the PlayStation allowed this to be like a mini laptop in a way. So this was a massive game changer, to be able to not just use Wi-Fi, but to plug in Ethernet, to use HDMI out. And also this AV connector, it made it so easy and universal. Like, my cable actually snapped, so I actually just bought a cheap one and plugged it in and it worked. I checked the power, that it was exact same voltage, but still, like, just this, if you don't understand how important this is in terms of just being able to play on the modern elements, so like every TV has HDMI on it. So that means that in today's era, this came out like 16 years ago, whatever. This still stands the test of time. You can still use this in today. Everybody still uses, Ethernet RJ45. Is it RJ45? Everybody still uses HDMI. Displays, every display uses HDMI and DisplayPort. So this is modern in terms of its connection. Yes, there's USB-C connectors now, but even the PS5 doesn't have USB-C out. So that's all I'm saying. Let's continue.
Net, optical audio, HDMI or alternatively an AV output on the back. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Slim variant. I wish I could say the same about the controller. For the DualShock 3, Sony opted to reuse the same design from its predecessors, resulting in the same ergonomic flaw.
Okay. This is where I have to agree. I prefer... When I say I prefer, I mean right now, I still prefer the Xbox 360 controller to the DualShock controller from PlayStation. Night and day difference. Everybody I asked who was my friend around that era, they would all say the PlayStation is a more superior console, but the controller is more superior on the Xbox. The Xbox was a console that you could have more media consumption. It was built for that. Whereas the PlayStation was heavily gaming. So this is basically copy and paste from the PS2, which is okay, but the ergonomic feel, it's not what you think it is. It doesn't feel the best in the hand. Like when playing certain games, example like FIFA, I would have to use R1 and R2 and L1 and L2 and trying to navigate those with it felt too narrow, it felt too cramped, and this is the only downside. The newer controller is a lot better, but I still prefer the Xbox controller because one of the joysticks, so the joystick in the Xbox is here and this is down there. So that moves the control a little bit higher. So there's way more control and it feels a bit more beefier. So the Xbox controller was a lot better, but the DualShock was good. I'm not sure if you can use new controllers on the old PlayStation 3s, but this was a big downside.
The controller's small size doesn't accommodate larger hands comfortably, and it can feel somewhat cheaply made. It charges via mini USB and has a decent battery life.
Yeah, mini USB, to be fair, they didn't die that quickly. And if you just kept the cable plugged into your PlayStation, it wasn't that bad, and you could even get docks for them. So yes, there's better, connectors in there, but still, that connector, the mini USB, is not used on many devices today. So in today's era, if you buy this, you have to go buy an extra cable that most devices don't even use. In my house right now, the only thing that uses that is this. See this? This is my... Where is it? My blue Snowball mic. I actually got two mics. I got my blue Snowball and my Razer Mini 2 mic. I chose to use the Razer because it sounds a little bit better. Sorry, Blue. This is more for like podcast. This is more for like one-to-one intimate conversations. So this uses, what do you call this, mini USB connector. So that's the only thing I can think in my house that has that. So it's a very old connector. So that might not stand the test of time.
Lifespan, resulting in an impressive library of games, many of which remain exclusives to this console. Here are some noteworthy examples, but bear in mind that with over 5,000 games on the platform, if I happen to overlook your favorite, feel free to shout it out in the comments below.
Yeah, this era of PlayStation had so many Like, it was ridiculous how many games you could play. And that's why it was the most superior console at that point in time. Because just the caliber of games you could play. Oh, the only benefit to Xbox was it was backwards compatible, but the PlayStation did something different. Every developer, every games creator wanted to make a game for the PlayStation because it had by far the most players. It was literally night and day. And a lot of the best games I played, Black Ops, Call of Duty, a lot of the FIFAs, this was the best time to play games. And even to this day, I have the nostalgic feeling of my friends surrounding a PlayStation, just playing games till like early morning hours. It was just that fun, honestly. I remember there were times where I would be queuing up with my friend at Tesco to buy at like midnight. To the second FIFA, came out, we'll be there buying it the same like hour it came out, and then we'll just go buy it, and within an hour we are playing it. Literally, like the same day it came out, within an hour. Oh, those moments, you can't forget them. But is this worth buying in 2024? The answer is yes. Yes, I would say it's even worth more buying this than the PS1 and 2, because this is modern, it looks sleek, it has a lot of games. Most games that are coming out now, they are like newer versions of all the games that came out. So there's now like Red Dead Redemption 2, there's Spider-Man 2, there's new Black Ops, there's new FIFAs, which means that you can still play slightly older games, but they're still the same game in a way, if you get what I mean. And there's so much. The second hand market of these games is insane. If you go to CEX, you can buy a game for like a couple pounds. Like, this is a no-brainer. The only thing I would say is, if you can find a way to get a better console than a DualShock 2 controller, get it, because the DualShock, it's alright. But anyway, that's my thoughts. Should you buy a PS3 Slim in 2024? Yes, get it, buy it. If you're stuck, message me and I help you pick one, because everybody needs to have one. I don't have one, but maybe I should get one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.